Today we're going to be talking about Leap. Now, I know some of you are probably pretty confused because you're looking at your screen seeing a reasonably high production value video game that's an FPS that you've never heard of, and you're probably like, I keep up with video games. How did I not hear about this? Well, that's the boat I was in as well. I found out about this game from a random comment on an unrelated game subreddit. So I don't think they've marketed this game very much, which is good because I'm hoping that it's genuinely an early access situation and not a soft launch or a we ran out of money, let's get this thing out the door situation. I hope this is a genuine beta, a genuine early access, because I think there's some potential here, but the game is definitely not ready for the mass market yet, I'd say, but it's a fun game. So let's get into the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the good. The game is a mix of Halo, Titanfall, and Battlefield from a gameplay perspective, in my opinion. I know from a looks perspective, it looks like PlanetSide, but in my opinion, playing it, it's a mix of Halo with the health and the time to kill, Titanfall with the movement, and Battlefield with the 20v20 objectives, general flow, I would say. And the movement and the gunplay is pretty solid, in my opinion. I think it holds up to just about anything else. Any other arcade shooter, I think it's par for the course. The movement is actually pretty damn solid. Spider-Manning around the map, building momentum, refining the movement is all very satisfying. There is a very real progression of when it comes to movement in this game. When you first start playing the game, you're going to be awkward and clunky on your hoverboard, and your grappling is not going to be great because you're not going to be used to building the Spider-Man momentum and zipping around corners and holding the grapple for that little extra bit longer so you can get that momentum as you corner around whatever you're trying to move around. Even in the few days I played in the beta, the difference between day 1 and like day 3 was massive in terms of just how comfortable I felt zipping around the map. And even looking at this footage right now, I'm bumping into stuff. There's so much room to refine your skill in the movement. It's very satisfying. So the movement they have absolutely nailed. I don't know. I really think they did a great job with that. There's 4 classes in the game. There's the Pathfinder, which is a general assault rifle type class that you'd expect in most FPS games. That one's the easiest just to jump in and play. It's the most familiar. Then you have the Titan, which is the tank and heavy weapons user. He's got explosives, LMGs, automatic shotguns, rocket launchers. He has higher health and shields, slower movement. This is what I personally played the most. I think it's a lot of fun. The Wraith is the sniper stealth class. That's one I didn't really get around to, but it's seemingly pretty powerful. A lot of the people that were shitting on me were playing this. Tech Ops also seems pretty powerful. Of all the YouTube videos I watched, people seemingly are saying that this is, people are sleeping on this. This is the support class that can heal. It's got turrets. And from what I saw in the beta, it seems like all of these classes are pretty well balanced, at least for the current skill level of the game. Maybe as people get better at this game, a more defined meta will appear and people will realize that, this class is just better than this class. But from what I could tell, I think I'm an above average player compared to the masses. Seemingly it's pretty balanced. So that's good. And that's good because they're all fairly different. I mean, they've all got their own different feel to them, which I really like. So the class system, pretty solid. The maps, I would say, are also pretty good. There was only one map that I didn't like. That was the forest map. And it's definitely still playable. There's nothing egregious about it. It's just not quite as hectic and crazy and fast-paced as the other maps. Maybe that's just a personal skill issue on my part, but that one seemed a bit more slow and, I don't know, just not quite as wild and crazy as the other ones. But by no means bad. I think the game looks good in my opinion. I'm playing this game in the lowest settings possible. Everything is cranked all the way down, which we'll get into in a minute. But even with that, I still think the game looks pretty good. I'm easy to impress, to be honest. I'm not really a snob on this thing. I think the art style and like the general model quality of what I'm seeing in the game is pretty good. I looked at some of the skins I was unlocking and some of the that kind of stuff, seemingly pretty high quality. So I can't really complain about that. So the game overall is fun. Like, that's the most important thing. I think they genuinely have something here that they can refine. And so let's get into the bad and the ugly. So the number one thing that's really gonna hurt this game is the performance. The performance is just not great. It's not unplayable. And honestly, if this game came out, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, it really wouldn't be bad in the grand scheme of things. The problem is that the FPS genre in particular, we've gotten very spoiled with ultra high frame rates from like CSGO, Valorant, Overwatch. This is the new standard is very, very high. I see people in the Discord, in the Leap Discord, complaining about like only getting 160 frames a second. And I realize that's, I really can't, I don't want to sit here and be a snob saying, if you get 160 frames per second, why are you complaining? But like the standard is very, very high nowadays, and we've gotten very, very spoiled with CSGO, Valorant, Overwatch. Many of these games just run incredibly well. Like, it's genuinely amazing how optimized some of these AAA shooters are. And it's not really fair. Like, I understand the world is not fair, and it sucks because I know that the Leap developers just have nowhere near the resources that these guys over at Riot Games and Valve and Blizzard, Activision, Microsoft have. I mean, it's such an unfair fight, but the reality is that they're going to have to get the game running a little bit better. And again, it's not bad. It's not the worst thing in the world. I have a 1080 Ti, which is a pretty old card, and if I had to guess, I was probably running around 100-ish frames a second. It did drop. It's not, again, not great, but certainly playable. It wasn't one of those things where I was playing the game and going, oh, this is, this low FPS, man, it's killing me. Like, I really didn't have that bad of an experience. But when I do see the complaints, I did have to lower my graphics settings, and it definitely wasn't that like Overwatch, Valorant level of like zippiness and smoothness. So hopefully they can improve on that. It's tough, man. The competition in terms of optimization performance is just fierce. It's fierce. So another problem is that there's not a ton of customization yet in the game. Leap is getting ready to enter early access. I think on June 1st is when that's happening. And this is where I genuinely hope the game is early access and not a soft launch or oh man, we got to get this thing out of the door, we're out of money situation. I really hope this is a genuine soft launch and they really just, blow it out of the park with more stuff. I feel like with a game like this, you need to have an absolute metric shitload of guns, options, class combinations, theory crafting out the wazoo. When I get killed, I want people to be killing me with the most weird and wacky combinations that I have never seen before. I feel like that's where a game like this can thrive, is with just pure chaos and madness. This is a fun arcade shooter. Hear what I'm saying here? Arcade shooter. They really need to lean into the fact that this is an arcade shooter and go completely fucking bananas with this. Esports, competitiveness, all of that shit, fuck it. I don't care, neither should you. This Leap will not and should not be a competitive game in terms of esports. This game should be a Modern Warfare 2 style, insane asylum of fun. Nobody played Modern Warfare 2 for the competitive, nail-biting, games or esports. It was a fun game. It was a fun game even if you were losing, if you were winning. Lean into this ridiculousness. Like, lean into the craziness of your Leap platform. The game is fun. It is fun to move around the world and shoot people in your game. Just give me more ways to do it. I don't care if it, breaks the esports. Like, the esports side of the game, it just shouldn't exist. Like, this is a waste of time. It's 20v20 madness of fun, chaos, and that. Now, when I say that, this game has a very high skill cap and skill ceiling. So I do like that. I like that, people are cracked out in this game. It's a 20v20 game, and there are absolutely massive chasms between the highest skilled players in the game and the lowest skilled players in the game. And they're in the same lobby. And I think this is good. However, this is a double-sided blade here, because personally, I think they should lean into this. I think they need to go straight up old school Call of Duty. The best players and the worst players are intermingled. It's random, chaos, fun. I like that random experience because it's fresh. It's not the same formulaic shit every game that you get with these competitive games, with these skill-based matchmaking games that just become so formulaic, and it's just like you're doing the same motions over and over again. I like that. I really like the randomness of the old days, and I think they should lean into that because it gives them a different feel than everyone else that's doing the same skill-based matchmaking, retention-based matchmaking, I think they should lean into that. However, there are a large amount of gamers that are not willing to actually have to learn how to play the game before they think they're good. Skill-based matchmaking in a lot of these games protects so many delusional gamers that think they're actually good at video games when in reality they're just playing people that are just as terrible as them. So while I think everything should be random and chaotic and, little Timmy should be in with Optic, Dorito Eater 420, it will hurt them. It will hurt them, but I also think it will help them if they get away from that. Now, I know it sounds like I have conflicting ideas here where I do enjoy the high skill cap and the high skill ceiling, but I don't want the game to be competitive and esports and all that nonsense. The thing is when you try to make your game ultra competitive for the top 1% of players, you really just have to make everything boring and lame and standardized. And that is not fun. I just want a fun arcade shooter. Let the badass players be badass. Like, seriously, I think it's fun to have these people that are just outrageous. And I'm not one of these people that was dropping 100 kills in the beta. But there were people doing it. I mean, it wasn't me, but I was still having fun regardless of the fact that I was not doing it. So another big weakness of this game is that the game is going to be entering early access with a price tag. I believe. That's what I've heard. I don't think that's smart. Especially for early access to be entering the market with a price tag, because god damn is the FPS genre so competitive. There are so many amazing games that die, and video games die so fast now, it's crazy. I mean, you guys watching right now can probably think of so many games that you thought were good, that probably were good, that are dead. It's outrageous how fast stuff dies nowadays. There is a really big, I don't know, everybody wants to play the biggest thing, and nobody wants to give even the third biggest thing any attention whatsoever. It's wild. And the competition is fierce, the competition is good, and the competition is free. Now, there are some psychological reasons why getting people to buy in is a good thing, because it incentivizes them to stick around a little bit longer and maybe learn the tech and learn the game, whereas if the game is entirely free to play, then people just drop it immediately if they don't immediately like it. So there, I can see an argument there, and also they get some money. But there is a bit of a psychology with free-to-play games where people just immediately drop them if they don't have the most amazing experience, because they aren't invested any at all whatsoever. Whereas if they have to spend even a little bit of money, maybe they stick around and actually, learn it, and it's not so bad after a while. So, yeah, dude. Here's the, I know I said a lot of bad stuff about the game, but it's genuinely fun. The game is genuinely fun. The movement, the guns, the maps, a lot of the core pillars of the game are good. Movement, guns, classes, customization with what they have right now, pretty good. The balance, not bad. Doesn't look too bad. The only, they got a lot going for them, man. They really do have a lot going for them with this game. But competition is fierce. My biggest advice I could give to them is, obviously, optimize the game. I'm sure they know that. But from a design 10,000-foot view, let the game be crazy. Let this game be Modern Warfare 2, Insane Asylum. You have the movement. You have such a good platform for an arcade shooter with this game. Let it be crazy. Competitive is a waste of time. You will not compete with these other esport games. Don't even waste your time. Just be fun. That's it. Just be fun and crazy. And I think you've got something here. So I hope they can pull it off, because, man, it's tough out here to be making a video game unless you have $400-500 million. And Halo has shown us that even with $500 million, you can't keep a player base. God, it's crazy anymore. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Leap. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.